Over the last few weeks, you've heard me briefly reference the Cures Act and a coming deadline. And if you've been watching our articles over the last couple of months, then you're fully aware that April 5th is coming, and the new Cures Act rules will have a start date as of April 5th. At least those directly related to information blocking and the ones that impact you. Now, for quick reference, this is an act that was actually passed in 2016 with wide, broad bipartisan support, and then also then the rules were actually finalized last administration, and they released them in March, and it actually became official in early May. The start date targeted was November 2nd of last year, of which then they moved that deadline due to COVID to April 5th of this year. Now, all of the experts that are really close to this do not believe that they're going to modify that implementation date for the Cures Act and its information blocking prohibitions on April 5th. They believe that that is going to stay in place. And instead, they'll use some flexibility with how they're going to, if you will, punish, right, some of those disincentives that may come. But we'll cover that at a different time, at a different place. So if you haven't watched our articles, I'd strongly urge you to go back and take a look at all of them. You can jump out to ilchiro.org and just search Cures Act, and that's CURES, Cures Act. And it'll pull up the articles that are directly related to this. You'll see an introduction, information on interoperability, and also one on information blocking in general, all of which pertain to you and your practice. So I'm going to give you a quick, brief overview, and also let you know we're coming out with another article in a week that is really going to get down and dirty and detailed, helping you find ways to implement all of these regulations in your practice, what you have to do, and things like that. So more is coming. But in a nutshell, I want to give you an idea of what the idea was. ONC indicates, now the ONC is the Office of National Coordination of Health Information Technology. Now, so this is the kind of the governmental oversight as it's related to health information technology. Now, some of you may remember ONC and a lot of what they did. If you got incentive money for moving your EHR or your health records to electronic format back about a decade ago or so, when you had to exercise meaningful use and attest to that, that was where ONC would have been really relevant in regards to the chiropractic profession and what we do. Now it's continued, obviously it's still in place, and now it really is geared not just on all of those types of things and handling that, but also in relation to the Cures Act and its implementation. So what is the purpose of this? What the ONC indicates is really it's designed to give patients and their healthcare providers secure access to health information. It also aims to increase innovation and competition by fostering an ecosystem of new applications to provide patients with more choices in their healthcare. Boil that down for you really simply. They want this patient to become the center of their medical record. And the way they do that, right? So they want interoperability. They want medical records to be shared across platform. They don't care if the provider is a chiropractic physician, a physical therapist, an MD, a DO, a surgeon, a general practitioner. They don't care. They want everybody to see everybody's. They want all of the providers to be able to see all of their patients' medical records so they can make the best possible healthcare decisions for their patients. And that's very, very important. They want patients to be able to choose the healthcare provider of their choice without running into obstacles in regards to how quickly they can get their medical records. So they want all of these things open, and that's incredibly important to understand. That's the interoperability. So as opposed to trying to find a centralized place to keep all of these records, what the government did with the passage of the Cures Act and with the implementation of the new rules is they said, instead, let's make the patient that hub. Let's make the patient at the center of that. The patients can instantly share out the medical records regardless of who the provider is. And here's the beauty in this, and this is what's fantastic for the chiropractic profession. It means it includes you. This is a part of our being a part of the healthcare system and an integral part of a patient's healthcare team. We get to not just provide and contribute to the patient's healthcare record, but also then we also are able to see their full record without running it through and jumping through additional hoops. Patient can share it with us very quickly. That's the goal of the Office of National Coordinator, the ONC. Now they've gone on to further to say that additionally, one of the key provisions in the rule is that it requires that patients can electronically access all of their electronic health information, and that's whether or not it's structured or unstructured at no cost. So basically, they want the patients not only to have the access, but they want the patients to have access where it doesn't cost them a thing. Again, making the patient the center of their own healthcare record. That's what the Cures Act is at its very root. Now, I could go into an incredible detail on some of the beauties of this and what's going to be so fantastic for the chiropractic profession. I think big data. If you haven't caught it, there's a tech talk a podcast with Jay Greenstein and Brad Cost, of which the three of us actually sat down and we talked about the Cures Act and what the possibilities are. And so if you haven't checked that out, you may want to check that out. It's a great podcast. Additionally, again, we have 3 articles, and I encourage you to go out and read them right now. Those are 3 articles as of the 17th of March, and more will be coming. In fact, there's a good chance that one of the more articles that is more geared towards implementation will actually drop early next week as well for your perusal. We're going to be announcing a webinar as well as on-demand education for this to help our members establish how this is going to work in your practice, when it's going to apply, which is more often than you think, and what you need to do, what steps you need to do to make sure that you are compliant with this new rules. But again, the possibilities are fantastic. The big data possibilities for data analytics and to be able to continually prove on a large scale basis, not just the financial efficacy, but also the outcome efficacy of chiropractic care and what you do for your patients. Incredibly excited about what's coming down the pipeline with the Cures Act and where we're going with all of this. But hopefully this gives you a quick overview of the generalities of the Cures Act and what some of the minor possibilities are, and you can kind of at least get a quick glimpse. And we'll cover more in the articles, and we'll cover more in a video in the coming weeks. We'll catch you next week.